My name is Mr. Milchick. I manage the severed floor of Lumen Industries, branch 501. With me is our fellow in training, Miss Wong. Greet the viewer, Miss Wong.
Welcome to The Matrix, a corporate coup of consciousness. Severance. This show is about Mark S., a guy who's chosen to split his life in two.
Wait!
At work, he doesn't remember his personal life, and at home, he has no memory of work. Driven to the severance position from the accidental death of his wife. Sounds like a perfect getaway for anyone desperate for an escape from grief. For others, it's simply a dream escape from the everyday 9-to-5 grind. But is it really all that it's cracked up to be? What if your job could erase your memories of work when you clocked out? Sounds great, right? But what does that say about the world we live in, that this idea even feels appealing at all?
The capitalist system is everywhere. It is all around us, even now in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on the TV. You can feel it when you go to work, when you pay your taxes, when you struggle to afford your rent. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth, that you are a slave. You're just a product, a worker meant to build wealth for someone else. But what they don't understand, what they can never understand, is this. While they've sat idle, hoarding the wealth of your labor, you have been preparing.
Where is it?
Every hour you've worked, every struggle you've faced has refined you. Your struggle is your training, and you've been training your entire life. But there is a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. We've survived by hiding from them, by running from them, but they are the gatekeepers. They are guarding all the doors. They are holding all the keys, which means that sooner or later, we all are going to have to face them. I've seen a capitalist buy through a murder charge. Men have emptied entire bank accounts at them and hit nothing but air. Yet their strength and their speed are still based in a world that is built from a tiny minority. Because of that, they will never be as strong or as fast as we all can be together. But I can only show you the door. You are the one who has to walk through it.
What are you trying to tell me? That I can dodge bullets?
No, Neo. I'm trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to.
Welcome to the real world.
Severance isn't just a sci-fi, it's a warning. It's a mirror reflecting a system that's not working for most of us. So, just what does Severance reveal about us? Well, art imitates life. Lumen Industries is a cold, sterile environment where workers don't even know what they're doing half the time. The company controls every aspect of their work life, even their memories. Most of us already feel disconnected from our work. We're asked to be professional, but that's just code for don't feel, don't question, just produce. In real life, we're already severed in a way. We're taught to separate our personal values from what we do at work. Think about it. Have you ever felt like your job doesn't align with who you are, but you do it because you have to pay the bills? The Boost mobile manager that threw me out of the store the other day for simply wanting to get warm for a minute, waiting for the bus in 6-degree weather, probably wasn't doing it to be evil. He was separating his personal values with his work values. The system conditions us to act against our own morals for the sake of work. So there's class struggles in the show, and there's a cost of ignoring these class struggles. In Season 1, we see the cracks forming in Lumen's control. The workers are starting to question everything, and it's clear they want answers. Just like the characters in Severance, workers today are starting to push back, from Starbucks employees unionizing to tech workers fighting against surveillance culture. People are waking up. Most recently, Disney employees received a 37% increase in wages from a union contract they fought for. And history repeats itself. Whenever workers are pushed too far, they fight back. Look at the labor strikes of the past, or the current wave of walkouts. We've seen it before, and it always starts the same way. People realize they deserve better. Spoiler alert, this is going into Season 2. So if you haven't seen Season 2 of Severance yet, please stop this video and come back to it at a later point. Severance Season 2 wastes no time peeling back the thin veneer of corporate benevolence, exposing how management frames control and benefit cuts as perks. In Severance Season 2, Episode 1, the chilling company video announced benefit cuts with an eerie, upbeat tone, spinning the loss as a positive change. It's an unnerving moment, and it feels all too similar.
Macro data refinement. Welcome back.
But what makes a building truly happy? This question came to light when 4 NDR workers, dissatisfied with their severed lives, conspired to mount what Lumen historians will forever call the Macrodat Uprising. Under my literal nose unfolded a human drama of danger and intrigue. Righteous anger.
Let's burn this place to the ground.
The Macrodat Uprising yielded bounteous reforms. These include tasty new snacks like fruit leather, cut beans, Christmas mints, and salsa. Not sold yet, the incentives were also reformed and now range from hall passes to pineapple bobbing. To our brand new, playful mirror room.
What the
What the hell was that?
Massive ass head game is what that was.
Imagine your boss cutting your benefits and selling it to you as a gift. Sounds dystopian, right? In Season 2 of Severance, that's exactly what happened. But what if this isn't just fiction? What if it's a reflection of how the corporate world manipulates workers in real life? The anti-union propaganda paintings are chilling. They scream a clear message: unionize and you'll pay for it. So what's the eerie part? This reflects real-world tactics used by corporations to demonize collective work power while wrapping their threats in faux camaraderie.
Belt is our boss now?
Really? He tackled you?
Yeah, bad. Which, I mean, fair, I tackled the man first, but I didn't with his belt. Kier pardons his betrayers?
In this section, you will learn about the warning signs most commonly associated with early union organizing, as well as other warning signs that could indicate associate disengagement, vulnerability to organizing, or early organizing activity. While employees have the right to organize, we have a right and responsibility to share our position that a direct working relationship is better for the customer, the company, and the associate. In order to be able to do that effectively, it is critical that we recognize the early warning signs of potential organizing and escalate concerns promptly. If you see warning signs of potential organizing, notify your building HRM and GM site leader immediately. The most obvious signs would include use of words associated with unions or union-led movements like living wage or steward, petitions or other concerted activity such as an associate purporting to speak on behalf of his or her coworkers when raising concerns, union graffiti, union t-shirts, hats, jackets, or other clothing, union flyers, and union visitors in or near the parking lot. Some signs are less obvious than finding the actual union flyer, but they can still indicate associate disengagement, which is itself a warning sign for potential organizing. These are signs that must be monitored very closely and should still be escalated. Examples include associates who normally aren't connected to each other suddenly hanging out together.
It's hard to make ends meet. I don't know, you guys don't pay a living wage.
This is a possible warning sign because living wage is a concept unions push for, that every job should pay enough to support a family of 4.
Wow. They're really stretching logic here to twist the concept of a living wage into something it's not. It's called a straw man fallacy. A living wage is supposed to be what a single individual needs to cover basic necessities like housing, food, healthcare, and transportation. The essentials, not a full family budget. They're trying to confuse workers by shifting the focus and obfuscating the language. Classic corporate doublespeak. The fact that corporations can openly put out anti-union propaganda like this, spin concepts like a living wage into something sinister, and still operate with little to no consequences, really does highlight the erosion of labor protections in the US over the years. Think about it for a moment. We are currently in a situation where union busting is essentially legal as long as companies follow technicalities. Labor laws are outdated and fail to address modern exploitative practices. Corporations have the resources to lobby against meaningful reform, leaving workers with less bargaining power than ever before. Meanwhile, the National Labor Relations Board is often underfunded and overwhelmed, and attempts to strengthen workers' protections frequently get stalled in Congress. It's no wonder companies feel emboldened to spread misinformation. They know the chances of real consequences are slim. In a society that operates off of ethics, Jeff Bezos would be in jail. What's frustrating is that union protections and strong labor laws historically built the middle class in this country, yet there has been this massive push to dismantle them under the guise of freedom or choice. But in reality, it's just corporations stacking the deck further in their favor. It's absolutely insane how normalized it's become. And since technology and small loans are so easy to obtain now, there are more distractions than ever, producing entire generations of zombie workers. People so addicted to their phones, they fail to look both ways when crossing the street. This addiction, stemming from the need to distract oneself from the harsh realities of the Matrix of we are all slaves to sell our labor power to survive. We are all slaves whose systematic purpose is to build wealth for a tiny minority of individuals. The way the system is set up today, it's like a rug was pulled out from under the working class, and many people don't even realize it. The push for freedom and choice often mask deeper truths. These concepts are frequently used to keep workers distracted and divided. Corporations know exactly how to play the game. They'll throw in just enough convenience, like phones and loans, to keep people in a cycle of consumption and distraction, while the real power and wealth keep consolidating at the top. We are left like frogs boiling in a pot of heating water, unaware of our impending demise. The addiction to technology is the perfect tool for this. Phones, social media, constant notifications, they're all designed to keep our attention fragmented, constantly engaged in something, anything, to keep us from thinking too deeply about the bigger picture. It's like the modern-day equivalent of the bread and circus strategy. People are drowning in shallow entertainment, while the real battle for autonomy, dignity, and fair compensation happens quietly in the background. The reality is that labor is the engine that powers the economy, yet most of the wealth created by that labor isn't distributed fairly. The vast majority of people are caught in a system that requires them to sell their time and energy just to get by, while a small percentage of ultra-wealthy individuals sit at the top, collecting the fruits of everyone else's work. It's incredibly frustrating because it feels like we've been conditioned to accept this as normal when it's anything but. That's why it's crucial to push back against this narrative and get people thinking beyond the distractions to realize their collective power. The current system thrives on people being too distracted, too overwhelmed, or too conditioned to challenge it. But once awareness spreads, that's when things can start to change. The new benefits introduced after the worker uprising are thinly veiled punishments. They're not upgrades, they're downgrades dressed to look like management is doing workers a favor. It's the same corporate strategy we see today. Cut corners, spin PR, and call it progress. We see this with the pineapple bobbing and the illusion of incentives. The show nails it. Ridiculous rewards like pineapple bobbing are framed as aspirational. This perfectly mirrors how companies use trivial perks to distract from harsh realities. But let's be real. No one cares about free pizza when you're working in a dystopian grind that eats away at your physical and mental health. Season 2's Hall Pass system hits close to home. It's a dystopian take on micromanagement that echoes my own personal experience at Goobagoo. At Goobagoo, every second of our workday was monitored and controlled. Bathroom breaks weren't a right. They were a privilege, granted only if you didn't disrupt the relentless flow of productivity for Mr. Brad title. Workers with medical needs were denied accommodations, leaving them in pain or worse. It's easy to blame the supervisors, the middle managers, or even the direct policies. But as Severance teaches us, the true culprit are those at the top, the ones who never feel pain of the system they've built. The owner of Goobagoo, Brad Title, was analogous to the corporate overlords in Severance. He wasn't plagued by carpal tunnel syndrome or nerve damage in your wrists from endless typing. He profited off the workers who were breaking their bodies to keep the machine running so he could have more money in his pocket. So let's connect the dots here. Severance feels like a dystopia because it's hitting too close to home. We see pieces of our own lives in Lumen's world. The long hours, the lack of purpose, the feeling of being controlled. The system isn't working for us. Capitalism thrives on our disconnection from our work, from each other, from ourselves. And the scary part, the more we ignore it, the worse it gets. The good news is, just like in Severance, change starts when we ask questions. When we stop accepting the status quo and start imagining something better. Think about Dylan in the season finale. When he sees through the veils of coffee cozies and finally tells Mr. Milchek, "F you, I want to remember my kid being born." That's the moment of awakening we all need. It's a stark reminder that we have the power to break free from the systems that control us, even if it means confronting uncomfortable truths.
Our job is to taste free air. Your so-called boss may own the clock that taunts you from the wall, but
my friends, the hour is yours. Page 197 slabs.
What if the power to change the world was right in front of us, hidden away? In Severance, the workers are trapped in a system that blocks their memories, forcing them to disconnect from their true selves. But beyond the sci-fi elements, this is a direct metaphor for how powerful systems in our world actively suppress groundbreaking technologies like free energy and keep us in a state of dependency. Let us further explore how the show Severance shines a light on the forces that keep us from realizing our full potential, and how this connects to the real-world suppression of free energy technology. In Severance, the employees at Lumen Industries are controlled through their separation of memories. But what if this isn't just a story about fictional memory manipulation? What if it's a reflection of how society controls us by keeping us ignorant of certain knowledge and technologies? Just like the workers who can't access their full memories, many of us are kept from the truth about free energy and other suppressed technologies that could change the world. Powerful industries make sure we stay dependent on traditional energy sources that benefit the elite. In the show, workers' lives are reduced to a routine, much like how we are taught to accept the 9-to-5 grind and believe that resources like energy are scarce. We're encouraged to believe that only certain sources of energy are possible, when in reality, other systems like free energy technology are being actively suppressed. This free energy technology has the potential to disrupt the status quo, just like the workers in Severance who begin to remember things they shouldn't. Free energy would likely shift the power balance, take away control from the corporations, and give back power to the people. And when you begin to question how things are done and look for alternatives, you threaten the established systems. Much like the workers' rebellion in the show, the push for free energy challenges the very foundation of the energy market as we know it today. And just as in Severance, where characters are kept in the dark about their own lives, new technologies like free energy are often kept out of the public eye. The status quo fears what happens when the truth comes out and the system no longer works to their advantage. They lose control. In the finale of Severance, Dylan has a breakthrough. He wants to remember his son's birth. He wants to reclaim his identity. In the same way, people are waking up to the fact that there are alternatives to the systems that control us. Season 2 exposes the hard truth. When corporations cut benefits, it's never for the workers. It's a strategy to tighten control and maximize profit. But it also is a wake-up call, because the more we understand their playbook, the better equipped we are to fight back. In the next episode, we'll unravel the darker side of Lumen's inner workings and draw connections to modern everyday workplace surveillance. Are you being watched? Stay tuned and find out.
Remember, managers, growth takes time, but happy workers bloom more quickly. To quote Lumen's founder,
"The mouth which is busy smiling cannot bite."
Stay tuned to learn how to break free from these invisible chains. This has been another episode of the Red Pill series, where I wake up America to the harsh realities they've been sleeping under for the better part of the last century. You might be groggy, America. You might very well hate me for waking you up, but it's time to open your eyes and your hearts. I'm your host, the Benefactor. Good night and good luck.
What's funny? You don't know what I did to the kitchenette yet, do you?
Work is bullshit.
The work is mysterious and important.